Yeah, whenever you're ready, wait, just go through what happened 1994. Do you think it would have been about this time of year? Um,
I would
July?
say because I used to go to my grandma's caravan. Because I'm from Burnley, you see, and the caravan site is just over the hill. It's just in Roughlee.
Roughly, yeah. And it would have, because it would have probably been school holidays, wouldn't it? That sort of narrows it down a little bit.
Yeah, there's two campsites across the valley. There's like one bit for the kind of children and family, and then there's another one across the valley, which is located at the side, and that's more located for like elderly people, where there's no park or anything like that. It's very
Right.
privatized there.
Okay. And so yeah, this was back in 1994.
Yeah, I'm 44 now, and I've only spoken about it on social media recently, but this was going back when I was like age of 14, 15,
Yeah.
and I was up there, spending the weekend up there with grandma and granddad. And as you can imagine, the caravans were like kind of set back to an open field. This field was quite large, surrounded in caravans, obviously, and the park was right in the middle.
Yeah.
And there was some swings on the park, and if you just sit on them, you'd be directly facing some trees at the bottom, which give a kind of a silhouette behind the caravans. And
Yeah.
in the distance, you could see the hills going over, like the meadows. And further back, you could see a big, massive, huge silhouette of Barley because it was quite close.
Yeah.
And I was sat on the swings with my childhood friend Nigel. He was from Nelson. He went to Primmett High School, and he was a little bit younger than me.
Are you still in
Nigel.
touch?
No, I've been trying to hunt him down on Facebook or anything. I don't
Ah,
think he does social media.
right.
He does go by the name of Nigel Atkinson.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't
And
bother him if he didn't want to speak about it, but it's always
yeah,
worth asking.
and his grandparents and his mum and dad also had a caravan next to each other, but they was at the far side of the caravan site.
Yeah.
And late one night, we were sat on these swings. Must have been about 10 o'clock. Sun were going down. It was getting dark, and we were just on these swings, just chatting away. And then we noticed this kind of light. It was coming towards. It was the light was coming from Pendle Hill itself, and I couldn't see it was in the air or anything like that. It was just so bright light. We
Yeah.
couldn't figure out whether it's on the hill or it was just a bright light. And
Would you say so? You couldn't tell if it was above the hill or if it was on the side of it, if you will.
no, imagine like you know, if you're looking towards Pendle Hill, you see this massive silhouette,
Yeah.
and obviously there was this light in the dark area,
Yeah.
so we couldn't figure out what distance it was. So anyway, it was obviously it attracted both of our attention. We sat there for quite a number of minutes, say half an hour or so. We were just watching it, and we weren't really talking about it. We were just watching it in silence,
Yeah.
just kind of just bored kids, and then we opened up a conversation to one another. We said, "So, have you seen that? Yeah, yeah. It's weird, isn't it? We've been looking at it for ages, and it's like, oh, what is it? What it? Obviously, our attentions knew it was something not right. It was
Yeah.
unusual. We began to trying to figure it out, and I said, Nigel mentioned, is it a helicopter? And I said, no, you'd be able to hear it. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's true. And I said, is it on the hill? Is it a quad or something? Some headlights, because they look like they're shining towards us. And
Yeah.
I said, no. I said, it can't be a vehicle because you'd be able to see the headlights on the grass as it's moving around different angles.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, yeah, that's true. Anyway, we couldn't think of a conclusion. It's weird, isn't it? But
And
can you see how it's moving? It's like kind of moving in angles,
yeah, that's what I was
almost
going to
like
ask.
a fly flying around a bulb. It moves in right angles, but this was obviously moving very slow.
Okay, so
And
let's
then,
just break down a little bit because it is interesting that the movement. I'm not sure if I got it clear last time. So you say it's sort of, I was going to say darting around like a fly, but so it's making that movement but slower. Would you say then?
yeah, definitely a lot slow. Yeah,
It's
very
almost
slow.
like bouncing around. Would you sort of say?
it wasn't bouncing. It was just a constant, steady movement, but just kept changing.
What would it do?
It's
Would
like
it reverse direction and so up
it
and
came,
down and up and
came,
down and left and right and that kind of thing? Or
it came down, and then it went full over like it came back on itself, but it went on like a, oh God, I'm not really good at angles. It went up like on a 75-degree angle,
yeah,
and it was just moving, just really these sharp angles, but quite slow.
yeah,
And then,
very unusual movement.
yeah, and then I think we were just, and then he decided to, anyway, after watching it,
Was it sorry? Was it constant movement? Did you say, or was the stops
it
as well?
wasn't, it wasn't, it wasn't a constant
So
movement.
it'd
No,
stop
it was
and move a
like,
bit. And,
yeah, it was like hovering. Well, at the time we didn't know it was hovering, but looking back at it now, I knew it was hovering.
yeah,
It
and you
went
said it was
down,
white.
and
Is
then
that
yeah, it
right?
was like a little, it was like a beaming white light,
Right, pretty bright from your point of view.
bright, almost like car headlights shining, but
Yeah, yeah,
wasn't a car because it was just one singular
yeah,
light. Um, Me and Nigel, we talked about it, and obviously he decided to go in, and so he said, "Right, yeah, see you later." And I said, "If you're up early in the morning, you come and get me, and if I'm up early in the morning, I'll come and get you." So we arranged to meet the next day, and he plotted off
as you do.
into distance, disappeared into the dark. I watched it for a few minutes more, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to tell my grandma and granddad about this and see what they think. And then, so I turned away from it as my back was turned away from it, and I started to walk up the field towards my grandma's caravan. And I was thinking, I better hurry up because knowing my luck, I'll get to the caravan and it would have gone, it would have disappeared. So I started to jog, and this is where it gets a bit more interesting. As I started to jog, obviously I was on the grass, and all of a sudden I noticed a shadow of myself right in front of me on the floor.
Yeah,
And I thought, what is that? Because I couldn't hear any cars, nothing, but this thing was above me, this light, and automatically just kind of it shook me up really, just thinking, what the hell's that?
yeah,
And I looked up, and it was there. It was there, just behind me, coming up along my left hand side,
yeah,
and I just seen it at the corner of my eye. Just as I looked up, I panicked. I just absolutely shit it. Didn't know what it were. I was scared. So then I started to panic and I started to run towards the caravan. And as I was running, my shadow continually to move to the right hand side of me. So it was coming up on the left hand side.
yeah,
And obviously, I was panicking even more. And time I got to the caravan, I was absolutely hysterical. I was running the grandma like out of bed. Come on, Granddad, come on, come outside, come outside, come outside. And obviously they stood up startled really, really quickly because obviously my behaviour, it startled them. Um, so my granddad come outside with me, and as we were just coming through the kitchen, my grandma had made her way to the front of the caravan, which would have been directly in front of the open field.
yeah,
And she opened the curtains with her both hands,
yeah.
both her arms, just like, boom, she opened them, whipped them open. And by this time, me and my grandma were just coming out the door, and she said, "What the bloody hell?" Like, in a fearful voice. My granddad was more stimulated this time. He was like, he was like pushing me out the door, like thinking, "What is it? What is it?" And we got out the door, and we stood on the caravan doorstep, and my granddad saw it. He stumbled back and he put his hands up to his eyes,
Did it?
and he said, "Jesus," he said, what the hell is that, Wayne? I said, "I don't know." I said, me and Nigel, I've just been watching it for half an hour or so. And he said it was over Pendle, and we just stood there in silence. My grandma was panicking. She was like telling us to come inside because she was just absolutely, she was
Yeah.
hysterical. Me and my granddad just stood there, and
So you said it
uh,
were pretty big, about the size of a hot air balloon, did you say?
yeah, and at this point, it was just we were just stood there admiring it, and it was stationary. It was right above the caravan site, and it was about the size of a hot air balloon, and you couldn't see any features on it. There were no
Right.
windows, no doors. You couldn't see nothing. It was just like it was like looking at a light bulb, but it was the size of a hot air balloon,
Yeah, just pure
and
white.
it was just illuminating the whole caravan site like it was daylight.
Right, okay. I mean, that would make sense, wouldn't it? Because it's casting the shadow, obviously.
Yeah, and it was absolutely huge, and it was just there was no sound from it,
Mm.
nothing. It was just hovering there. There was no heat from it.
And how high do you think? Any, roughly ideas?
It wasn't that high at all.
No, 100 feet maybe.
You could clearly tell that it was a lot bigger. It could easily swallow up a few caravans, put it that way. It was that big.
Hmm.
And we watched it. And if you kept continue to watching it, in the background to the left of this UFO, there was Black Hole that went over towards Black Hole.
Yeah,
And all of a sudden, it just shot off like like nothing had ever moved so fast.
really.
No sound again,
Yeah,
no smoke, no nothing, no. It just boom, shot over, it all gone,
yeah.
and
And
everything was yeah,
how long do you think that took? Roughly.
it was gone within a second.
Yeah,
Like from
something like
here to
that.
Blackpool Tower, you're looking like 3 miles, and it
Yeah,
gone straight over the hill.
no, exactly. Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? So, like, I mean, just we'll roll back to when you're sort of on the swing and you've jumped off the swing. So you're facing east, west, aren't you? You're on. That's right, isn't it? Yeah, you're on the east
Yes.
side of Pendle and you're facing west. Not that it matters that much, but anyway. So I'm assuming you've sort of turned to your right and your caravan's over straight ahead of you. Then is it
Let's have a look.
roughly?
Let's have a look and get it up on the maps. I'm just getting it up here now.
I'm gonna go and have a look up there just to get a couple of pictures.
Yeah, the caravan site. I've looked in the maps recently, and the swings have moved. Um,
You said they changed
because
orientation, didn't you?
yeah, because back then the swings were
Facing the
well,
hill more or less directly.
roughly. Let's have a look. The swings were facing
Yeah,
kind of a more north.
yeah,
Um, Pendle Hill, and that view was was more. It was more west, north, northwest.
yeah. Okay, a little bit northwest.
Um, but now these swings are pointing east to west because
Right.
it's a whole new park.
Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And I wonder if the trees have probably maybe grown a bit as well. I wonder if you can still see
you
the
can
hill.
see the trees. The trees are at the side of the river, which obviously facing north from them swings. And you could probably you could get access to the caravan site and just go and have a drive round. The field was a lot bigger back then because there's been one row, there's been another 2 rows added to that field. So that now that field has got a lot smaller, but
Right.
back then it was a lot more open.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you would have turned to your right, is that right? And then
Yeah,
sort of headed that way. What I was wondering, how long do you think is it possible to estimate like when you last saw it between when it was above you? What have you got a sense of how long that took? That sort of you've jumped off swing, you've taken a few steps, whatever.
yeah, because me and Nigel were looking for about it for half an hour. So that on top of it, and then me walking up the field, getting back into caravan. Should have been, we'd been watching it in the sky, or me and my granddad at that time, a good 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, what I meant is, what I'm trying to get at is, I wonder how long it took it to come from Pendle Hill to being above you,
Oh, it would have been
because
seconds.
that's what I'm
Absolutely.
thinking.
Yeah.
Like, you
It
know,
would have moved over like 3 seconds. And it must have been in like Barley Valley.
because it's 2 miles, right? And I just did a count. You can do it online. I'm not a mathematician or all, but it comes out. I can't remember exactly. It's something like 1,400 miles an hour. If it took 5 seconds, if it was 1 second, it's 7,200 miles an hour. Mach 14. So them little
Yeah,
details are interesting. And again, you've got a similar one as it's gone away. And
it's
if
just all
they call it
inconclusive, you
instantaneous
know.
acceleration, bang,
Yeah,
it's
there's just
gone. You know.
it's absolutely just yeah.
So they're interesting details. You know what I mean? Just to try and pin down that. That's all I'm saying. And then
When
let me just get this straight in my mind for when I'm sort of write this up. You this has come from your left, and when you've spotted your shadow sort of ahead of you, but I'm a bit to your right. Is that right? Or-
as I was walking at the field, it was coming
Yeah,
up on my left hand side.
yeah. That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah,
And as I was running, I could see my shadow moving from in front of me. Obviously from the front left, because I noticed it when the shadow was in front of me, and
because what?
that's when I looked up and noticed it was coming up to my
Yeah,
left
you
hand
look round.
side.
I wonder. So how big did it look at that point? It must have been pretty much on top of you then, anyway. When you look round,
It weren't above me. It
still
was
behind a
more
bit.
cute. Yeah. If you look at the Google map on the caravan site, I'd say it was hovering right in the middle of the campsite
Right. Okay. And then it's sort of tracked. Do you think it's tracked
towards
along?
this field. And yeah, I felt as though it was when I was
It
running up this
followed you.
field, it was tracking me. And obviously when I got into the caravan, it looks like that's when it becomes stationary.
It stopped there, yeah, and hovered for a bit.
Yeah. When this thing had gone, we got into the caravan. My grandma was rushing around. She was locking all the doors and windows and
Oh shit!
everything like that. Um,
Can't blame her.
the telly was off, and everyone was just in silence, just kind of
Yeah.
just the anxiety was there. And then all of a sudden, the caravan door started rattling, which we were like, you know,
Like you do, yeah, yeah.
and my grandma was like, "Who is it? Who is it?" And there was a little old lady who'd come round from the back who had a caravan just behind us.
Oh yeah.
She was like, hey, "Let me in, let me in." So obviously, she must have been watching telly with the curtains open, and she would have witnessed it coming over, and
So she'd
she would have
seen it
been
as well.
she would have been scared stiff and wanting to come in. But my grandma, I wanted to let the little lady, she was in fear. We all were, and my grandma, she was, no, you're not coming in.
Oh, was she?
It
Bless
was
her.
like, piss off, no.
Bless her.
And
Oh, well.
she just hobbled away. It's
Oh.
just,
So I was going to ask, did you think anyone else had seen it? Obviously, did Nigel ever get back to you on it? I guess and he missed out, did he?
we talked about it. He said his grandma and parents and said that everyone saw it that night.
They did see it. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
All
they
right.
did see
Okay.
it.
I mean, I
Yeah,
guess it's going to be pretty dramatic, isn't it? Really.
yeah.
I don't think it ever met papers, did it? I've not found it.
I don't think he did know.
No, I found a few around, years before and years after and that. Maybe odd one. But yeah. So I mean that covers it, doesn't it? I think
Yeah,
I think I think
yeah.
we
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was,
yeah. Well, this is it, innit? It's a profound event, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's
yeah. But ever since then, I was still at school and stuff like that, and I was just forever. I was just always been obsessed. Since then, I've never really thought about any alien intelligence or, I
before
was
that.
never really into stuff like that. I was just thought, it was just all sci-fi and
Yeah.
films. But after witnessing something like that,
Well, there
it
you go.
changes your deception pretty
Yeah.
quickly
Well, that's it, isn't
on
it?
what's about.
Unambiguous event. So you did. I mean, we might as well go through this if you don't mind. You did have another one, didn't you? Which was quite interesting with your girlfriend. Up in what's it called up there?
Earthwood, was it?
Hurstwood. Yeah.
Earthwood. Yeah, obviously with everyone that I talk to pretty close, I'm like, oh my God, you tell them about your experience and stuff like that. Obviously, you were telling close ones because
Yeah.
you wanted them to believe and
Part of your
things
life,
like
isn't it?
that.
End of the day as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've got
and
so many
share
people
your
into
insight.
them over the years, and anyway, there was this one specific girlfriend, and she was a bit optimistic about it. And I said, look, honestly, I said, next clear sky, I said, we'll go up to Earls, and I said, I'll show you a few interesting things. And they were like, oh, right, yeah, okay. I didn't drive at the time, but they did, so I was pretty excited to just get out. So we headed up Hurstwood, and we parked up and everything. It was like, wow, look at stars, this is amazing. Like, we were both excited, like, yeah, this is well good.
It's nice up
And
there.
then anyway, we were just chatting and started walking over the stiles. We started walking over towards, it's called Rockwater. It's like a little river, like a little stream.
Okay.
Uh, but we got over the first stile and we started just walking through this cow field, just looking up, nearly falling over by looking up. And then all of a sudden, this one were just flying over, and it was, yeah, again, it was massive. It was, you could clearly tell it was low below plane altitude because when we looked at it, it was like looking at a moon.
Yeah.
But just imagine, the moon just kind of floating
Yeah.
right above, just kind of. But it weren't exactly going in a straight line. It was kind of, it almost like it was going side to side, but really slowly,
Yeah.
almost like a calm wave, just kind of
Wobbling, maybe.
wobbling,
Weaving.
and it was just there, and you could clearly tell that it wasn't normal. You could tell that it wasn't high up, like miles high up,
Yeah, yeah. You think
and
you'll be below clouds or whatever.
as soon as we saw it, we felt vulnerable. We felt scared, and it was enough to make us run
Really?
because it was a little bit too, she started to panic. She just like, right, I'm done. I want to go, and she freaked and just wanted to get back to the car, and that was it.
So did that just track over, or did that stop? Or
No, no, it didn't stop or anything. It just kind of tracked over. I think
yeah,
we were just kind of luckily to see it, and obviously I've always been scouting the skies around here, and
yeah,
there was another time where I saw two twins come over Burnley, and they headed over Crown Point, and honestly, they looked like whoever was up Crown Point. Honestly, at that time must have been close, like the day I did up that when I with Montgomery's caravan,
yeah,
because I saw them and I watched them, and they flew right over Crown Point, and they were flying really low, and they were like moving. They were twins. There were two of them.
yeah. Together, one before, one behind, side by side, or what?
Yeah, yeah. Any clear night, I could take someone out and I could show these weird lights, and they'd be like unexplainable. Like, you can clearly see that one's a plane. You can clearly see what that one's not. They do move very, very strange and erratic. You see them at all different altitudes, but sometimes you get these like really dim ones, and they kind of flying across. But if a plane was at that kind of altitude, there's no way a plane could fly that fast.
Yeah, and you're ruling out satellites as well. You did say, didn't you?
Yeah, you could rule out satellites. Satellites don't have lights on them. Satellites usually get to a bright point and then they dim, obviously because they're reflecting the sun.
Yeah, that's
But these you can literally see from coming over the horizon right over to the other side, and they just kind of fade out.
yeah,
And these don't. They look like they bob a little bit, like there's a slight curvature. They don't stay in a direct line.
yeah.
Uh,
So anyway, yeah, that's brilliant, Wayne. Thanks for that. I'll stop recording then 1 second.